I am going to make a beautiful tart for you using tomatoes, of course. And you want to start first with having some prepared puff pastry. You can just go to the grocery store and buy this. And what I like to do is put it on a cold marble board. And if you don't have a marble board, well, you can just roll this out on your counter, but use a little bit of flour, or you could put it on some parchment paper like that. And then all you have to do is roll it out a bit to fit the tart shell that you're using. And today we're using a 10.5-inch tart shell pan. So there is our puff pastry all ready to go. And now we need the pan for this. And for this you want to use a tart shell that you have lightly greased, you see? You just spray it with a little bit of vegetable spray. You want to make sure that that is going to come out. And then you take your pastry and you get it right there in the pan. Make sure that you have enough of an overlap so you can make a little bit of an edge. So there's our pastry. You see how these are doing here. This is looking really good. And they're almost ready. They look like little jewels. So then you want to make sure you give your tart shell, your tart dough, a little bit of slack. And take the extra tart pastry and just kind of fit it into the pan. It's really good to have kind of a thicker border, because this will help to prevent that pastry dough from just shrinking a bit. So there is our beautiful, beautiful tart shell. And now to keep this flat, we want to put a piece of foil right over this. Why am I doing this? Well, because I want to weigh that pastry down. And the way to do it is to use these kind of ceramic little beans that you can buy in a kitchen store. And that really helps to weigh the pastry down so that when you take this off, you don't have a lot of bumps in the pastry. And now this is ready to go into a 425-degree preheated oven, because you have to pre-bake it. I happen to have one already in. I'm going to take it out for a moment and take the one that I've just prepared and put it in. You want to cook this, bake this for about 10 minutes. And you want to take the foil off, take those beans off. You can save those for later on. They can be used again. And now you see what I mean about your puff pastry kind of having little hills and dales. But what you can do is just take a little knife and give it a prick, and that will flatten it out some. So you want to take some, Dijon mustard and brush it gingerly right over that tart shell. You see, we pre-baked this because now we're going to have to put tomatoes in this. We don't want this shell to be soggy. So that's all you have to do. Give it a nice brushing of mustard. And then you want to put in a bed of cheese. And this is provolone cheese. This is a cow's milk cheese. Put a nice bed of provolone cheese in. Spread it around. And now we want to put our tomatoes on. And here you have options. Here we have some beautiful yellow tomatoes. So you put on some yellow tomatoes. If you don't have yellow tomatoes, you can use just all red tomatoes. Then we can have, here's a couple of orange tomatoes. Here's a layer of red plum tomatoes. You can get very creative with this. This is a great summer tart, and the nice thing about this is that there are no eggs in this. Put another one there. And let me put a few more pieces of this orange tomato with the yellow tomato, because I think that just makes it look very, very pretty. Okay, that's all we need, but we're not done, because now we need to make something that's really going to give that great flavor. And I want to use some fresh herbs for that. So here we have some fresh parsley. So that goes in. You want to put this in a food processor. Some fresh oregano. And some thyme. And a couple cloves of garlic goes in. And I'm going to put a little bit of onion in here. I'm going to cut this up first so it will all chop together very nicely. So now we put our top on. Get that all pulverized. You really want to mince it up well. But then you want to add a little bit of olive oil to this. Okay, that looks good. And now we can transfer that to a bowl. Put it in a bowl. And give this a little bit of olive oil to just make a paste mixture. So a little bit of extra virgin olive oil goes in. Stir that around really, really well. So now you take a nice spoon, take this mixture, and you spread it right over the tart, just like this, right over the tomatoes. So spread it around. And now this is ready to go into a 425-degree oven for about 10 minutes. So we'll take it again. Be sure you hang on to the bottom. And in it goes.